Hello team and welcome back to another Line Warcast. This is your map today. It's a 2v2 between Numpty in blue, Bisantos in red, and on Bravo team, Dr. No in orange, and Snake in teal. Numpty's going to go to the far left, their teammate Bisantos is going to go to the north. Dr. No and Snake are going to likely spawn somewhere down in the bottom right, and that's what happens. Snake is right here, close to the coast to the north. And Dr. No going for this cross pick across the water to get some troops on the left-hand side of the map, and then also 3 territories on the right-hand side. We're hearing the players put down their first buildings at the moment. Numpty going for an airport, pre-built a town immediately for the eco, 2 factories and a barracks. Snake matching some of the economy, going for 4 farms and a town immediately. And Dr. No's got 2 factories, 2 barracks in the bottom left. Bisantos in the north has 1 factory at the moment, tons of economy around red. All players actually have a decent amount of economy close to where they've started. I suppose the player with the least is Dr. No, who will start capping to the right-hand side. There's this farm, towns and ports. A pretty eco-rich map in general, it feels like. And we watch the build-up. The factories for Dr. No are building artillery pieces, some infantry out of these barracks. We'll likely see that Dr. No and Numpty are going to get into a fight in this mountain range. Numpty's going for helicopters out of the airport, and Bisantos has a dock now, a barracks, an airport, and a farm on the way. A cruiser out of the dock immediately for red. And it's actually 1 lumber camp, 2 farms for red in the north. Teal has a lot of economy, starting to build some barracks. 3 and now a 4th for Snake, who begins to start pushing towards the center of the map. Is going to find themselves in a little bit of a 2v1 situation with these factory and infantry units from Numpty and Bisantos heading towards the middle. These are the lines that the players are drawing. And we'll have to see if Bravo Team is able to... I mean, it's kind of a split map situation, so it's not like Bravo Team is super boxed in. There's plenty of room to the right-hand side to start capping. And the airport unit for Bisantos is a striker as the first one. Snake puts down an airport for themselves. And Dr. No's army, off of these first starting buildings, beginning to go to the left, capping as they move. This is a depot from Snake. Refinery-wise and energy, it's really just this front energy well that Teal's going to be able to take. There is one in the water, but it would require either Dr. No or Snake to put down a dock to start capping this. If Bravo Team wants to go for a lot of heavy, energy units, planes, tanks, or boats, it'll be a little bit difficult to do that, given that there's really only 3 refineries that Bravo Team has access to. This front one in the field is a little bit scary as well, because of how close it is to both red and blue's starting base. But of course, it'll depend if Bravo Team wants to put down a dock to even cap this water territory to get that energy well. The first refinery that Snake is going to build is this forwardmost one. And Bisantos immediately clicks on it to send the first striker to start softening it up. First contact between these blue artillery pieces and this teal infantry. In this game, helicopters for Numpty. Dr. No already has 2 SAMs building this town in a 3rd factory, so the idea from Bravo Team is going to be that Dr. No is going to push everything through this mountain range and try to attack Numpty from the bottom side. If we look at Bravo Team's vision, it's not immediately clear where the buildings are, but you can make a little bit of an educated guess that it's somewhere around here. Helicopters got the first round off. There's enough infantry here for Orange to protect these artillery pieces in the back, which start shelling the blue units. More buildings in production for blue, now on 3 factories, and a second barracks on the way. First refinery also being built for Numpty to power those helicopters, and Snake puts down a factory. Helicopters for Teal. And the depot might get some energy, but the Striker's done a great job to soften up this refinery. The Teal infantry isn't able to shoot this quick enough. There's no SAMs at all for Teal. So the refinery's in a little bit of trouble. The cruiser doing what it does best, attacking things from the water on land. Nearly destroys that farm. And a good push from Snake with this infantry. An interceptor for Basantos, still building some strikers at home. And Dr. No's got 2 more SAMs on the way, gonna go up to 4 factories here. Which will put Numpty in a little bit of a tough position as the orange SAM count gets even higher. Because production-wise, Orange has more. 2 barracks and 4 factories against 2 barracks and 3 factories for Blue. And then, of course, Numpty still has to be a little bit cognizant of Snake's infantry army here. Second factory for Snake, who's got the first helicopter in action. The refinery is in a lot of trouble. And if we go top down, both teams have pretty much the same amount of territories capped. The blue helicopters doing their best to chip away at these infantry. 2 SAMs, just enough to deal with 1 helicopter. And this is a little bit scary for blue. I mean, it's a great play by Bravo team because there's a lot of pressure from Dr. No in the south, and then of course Snake pushing from the north. The only problem about this is that Teal is gonna lose this refinery soon. There it goes down. So the Teal helicopters aren't going to be able to move that much longer unless Bravo team gets another energy source, potentially power plants at this point. Dr. No builds this town in the back, which is great for the economy. And between this missile boat and the interceptor, one of the helicopters for Teal goes down. And this is the fight to watch right now. Snake's infantry army in the north is going to take out one of the barracks. And also spread the production for Blue to have to send some units up to the north and then some units to the south. Infantry get a 20% attack and defense bonus. But they, of course, move more slowly through this territory because it's a blue-controlled territory and it's a forest. So the 4 artillery pieces have opened up already. Numpty immediately rebuilds that barracks and Basanto starts pushing this Teal refinery. Which Snake has no real option except just to rebuild and hope that it stays up. It's just 2 Teal artillery pieces that are trying to defend the refinery. They won't be able to hold out for much longer. The Teal infantry in the north slowly getting cleared up. There's still 4 of them left that are going to head up to this blue refinery, which would be devastating, really, for Numpty, because the helicopters would have to stop moving. There is another refinery location that blue could build. Then these are your 2 fights, bottom left of the screen and top right of the screen. Orange starting to get a unit advantage in the numbers. Still a very precarious situation for blue. The closer that Basantos gets to Snake's base, the more that this defender's advantage kicks in, with Teal's buildings being that much closer. 1 commando gets by and is on top of this town. This is Bravo team's vision. So the commando is invisible. It's really just the audio cues and then also the visuals on this town taking damage that would alert Snake, but it's sometimes difficult to see, especially with just 1 commando like that. The teal infantry can't destroy that refinery, which is a big win for Numpty. The helicopters for blue likely are going to be able to get involved in the center of the map. There's no real point to send them down south anymore because of these 5 SAMs that are here, which thankfully then for Dr. No, Orange can start transitioning to more artillery units now that all these SAMs have been built. Cruiser destroys the farm. The Commando is about to destroy this town, which is a big pickup from Red. Basantos is dug in at this choke, which just makes it even more difficult for Teal to push out. 2 more factories now for Snake. And top down, this is what it's looking like. Top right of the map is really the only part of the map that neither team has fully capped at this point. And this game has just turned into orange versus blue and red versus teal. Blue helicopters show up to also help with these red units. There's no SAMs here as of yet for teal. Snake's starting to build some out of these 4 factories, and Dr. No puts down a rocket in a location that would be able to cover both this choke to the north and then also attack Numpty's main base. At this point, Orange's vision and Bravo Team's vision in general shows that Numpty's base is there, or at least a lot of the units are. Helicopter versus helicopter and 1 interceptor for red. This is doing the job though. It is delaying all these teal units from just pushing blindly to the center of the map. Red strikers using their target command, their targeting ability on the barracks and just picking off single units or single buildings at a time. The one commando that sniped that town earlier is taken out. And now one of the questions in the game is whether Dr. No is going to be able to use this rocket effectively and how that's going to go. Is it going to go towards Blue's base? Is it going to have to go towards the center? Is Snake going to be able to hold on long enough so the rocket can actually be used? This is why we watch. This is looking very good for Dr. No on the bottom left. There's enough artillery now here, and it's a good enough concave that as these blue units pop out of the buildings, since they're not kind of getting grouped up before getting sent in here, they're just running in one at a time, and it buys some time for Blue, but it doesn't really allow Numpty to push back super effectively. It's a tough spot for Numpty to be in. Red's got a city on the way now, upgrading this town now that all the industry connected to this location have been built. And an airstrip part of me that's very close to the coast. I don't think Basantos is worrying too much about a navy from Teal being able to destroy this, since Red has pretty much scouted most of this coast and has a barracks on the right-hand side. Dr. No's built a barracks as well on the right-hand side, which is important. And Numpty builds another factory in an effort to hold on here. At this point, Blue actually will have more factories than Orange. Orange on 4 factories, Blue on 5, going on 6 factories. And just a meat grinder in both of these main fights. The SAMs move up for Orange in a great position to defend against these blue helicopters. And the launch pad is done. Once Orange gets 500 money, then the rocket will start getting built. That will be put on the stand. Basantos sends down a group of infantry in an effort to defend against all of this orange artillery. It is a lot of orange artillery at this point, though. And top down, this is what we got. Right hand side still very much up for grabs. Dr. No has a little bit of an advantage going up the far right of the map first. But another good landing by Basantos to take out one of the barracks. Red also has a rocket on the way, rather a launch pad that is being built. And Orange's rocket is on the stand. Snake is finally able to break out of this location. Red disbands that entrenchment command. And you can see that Snake is doing a good job to try to send the units closer to the bottom coast so that these red boats can't attack the units. Which was one of the reasons why it's so hard to push through this choke. The Santos are going to make sure that this teal refinery can't get up and running. There's only one SAM here. As long as these red strikers can get to target, they're going to be able to destroy that refinery. So one of the factories for blue goes down. Red infantry heading right towards the SAMs. Unfortunately for red here, there's one artillery piece that's already opened up, and the SAMs will do decent in this trade against the infantry. It's really required, though, that these red infantry get in the fight like they are to at least take some of the orange unit's attention away from continuing to push blue's base in an effort to see if Numpty can hold on. Another refinery snipe. Launchpad isn't quite done for red. Still some more landings in a cruiser helping out to secure the location for the landing. There's a missile boat also heading out here. The helicopter, of course, doing a great job. But once this missile boat is here, it's going to get shut down. Two barracks on the right-hand side. Dr. No's digging in right in front of them. And maybe very slowly, Numpty's starting to hold. And using this factory advantage to push back. Still very close. There's some power plants for red with all these all these airports and docks. And a rocket 1/3 of the way done. Rather, it is on the stand at this point. Certainly in range of Teal's starting base. This is about as good as a situation as it can be for Orange. The red units are taking the fight against the entrenchments. Of course, the problem about entrenchments in some sense is that these bottom infantry aren't able to all fight. And now Dr. No turns this into an attack command. The units get a little bit derpy in entrenchments and the way that they try to move around other units that are already entrenched in a position. It's kind of tough when they're super close to the building. So you often see this a dig in and then a turn this into an attack move once the AI is no longer favoring you, you know, in the way that these infantry pop out of the barracks. They instantly make these units in the entrenchment kind of jump around. And this is a very, this is a notable number of units that Basantos is able to land here. Striker support is huge. The depot will go down, so will some of these farms. Here comes the rocket from Dr. No. It's going to go right towards Numpty's base. And we'll see how effective this is. If it destroys all of this blue artillery, there's a chance that Dr. No could keep pushing here. And really about as good of a rocket as could be in this situation. It leaves Numpty with just 2 factories and 3 barracks. Blue's immediately building these factories further back, close to this refinery. And Red's economy is surely very good at this point. 2 aircraft carriers being built out of these docks. There's enough strikers to put on these aircraft carriers, which is important. And now that Snake's dug in around this refinery, all of these factories and these 2 barracks from Orange are able to be sent down here to try to defend. And top down, this is what we got. Basantos' rocket is nearly done. The cone's going on momentarily. No second rocket for Orange. which is probably a financial decision, really, when it comes down to it. First rocket was super effective. Good dig-in from Numpty in and amongst these buildings and the artillery. And the helicopter's now working on the bottom left. There's no anti-air here for Dr. No quite yet. Perfect dot of SAMs in the center location. Here comes Basantos' rocket. This is going to destroy all 5 of these factories for Teal. And this becomes a difficult situation now for Snake, I think. These barracks from Basantos, or this one barracks is still sending in infantry. Both of the barracks for Orange have to go over to the left to try to defend against the drops that are happening. Basantos changes the landing location. And here come the strikers on this target command. This is 5 strikers. They're certainly going to be able to destroy this. They are on haste move, so they don't fire as many rockets. Now they've slowed down. And there goes the airport. And tons of infantry for Red now starting to land. On the left-hand side, still going decent for Dr. No, who takes out another factory. It'll be difficult for Orange to just push through this defensive line. It's enough artillery for Numpty that are dug in. When they're dug in like this, the artillery get a range advantage over, you know, if they were just not dug in, if they were just attacking in an open field. And they also get a defense bonus against artillery projectiles. Second rocket for Dr. No is on the stand. We'll have to see if Snake can hold out long enough for Dr. No to use that second rocket. 4 barracks now for Red on the right-hand side and a second launch pad. Showing just how much economy Red does have. And Basantos is able to send some of these units off to the left-hand side to buy more time for Numpty. And actually a third launch pad for Basantos on the left. Which will be huge in attacking this orange army as it moves through the forest. Tough spot for Teal. The red infantry is on top of all this artillery. They'll be able to clear it out. And if they aren't able to clear it out fully, they're at least trading super well against this at this point. And more eco for Snake, who's lost pretty much everything. All these strikers just targeting down these buildings. And the aircraft carriers, of course, make it so these strikers can get into the fight quicker as well. They don't have to fly all the way from this one airport. And there's no factories for Teal to make a SAM. At this point, it's really up to Dr. No on the left-hand side to be able to push through this, but it's a tough ask because it's now a 2v1 situation against Orange here. And Blue's already dug in a very central location. And more eco for Alpha Team. Second city on the way for Red. Nearly all of Bravo Team's buildings on the right-hand side are being targeted by these strikers. Good amount of infantry for Orange here, though, so not going to lose these 2 barracks or this factory, but big picture, this is still a very difficult spot for Bravo Team. Second rocket for Basantos is completed at this point. Dr. No's out of here. And Snake. I mean, if Snake can come back at this point, greatest comeback of all time. Not even close. So Teal disbands this, moves off to the left-hand side, but there's more rockets here for Basantos. There's no rocket on the left launch pad, but there is, of course, as mentioned, this central rocket already completed. Well played, GG. Let's look at some graphs. This is why we tune into the channel. Look at some graphs. Empire value for Alpha Team a little bit higher. And then, of course, the eco over time. Growing. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out the Line War Discord if you want to learn more about the game. I say that every time after each one of these videos. If you're new to the channel, you know, you can comment, like, subscribe potentially, whatever you want. It all helps out the channel and the growth of it. I appreciate all the support from all you folks. The whole time we've been doing this, we've been uploading these videos for, by the time this video is out, well over a year. And, you know, much appreciated all the support, folks. But good luck, have fun on ladder. See you around twitch.tv/SodaQuackers. Come say hi. Enjoy. Peace.